Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. Welcome to the first day of the Saratoga, well, I guess it'd be Belmont at Saratoga meet. 5 days starting today. Really wild day, but a good day here late for myself and for everybody that bought the product. So a good win there in the ninth. Hopefully we can keep it going one more. But that's not what this show's about. We're talking Belmont and we're talking a playoffs. All right, Papa Dude, you ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it. Let's get to it.
All right, let's do it.
Playoffs are finally starting tonight.
Yes, I know. It has felt like forever since we've had a hockey game. So
yes, well, it's been a week.
Yeah, I know. Be very happy that they'll be back. And yes, those super regionals for baseball going on this weekend as well. And the college women's college World Series will finish up on Friday, I guess. So
maybe they could finish Thursday.
Yeah, that's true. It could finish Thursday. Yeah. That's right. All right, a lot going on, but the main headline for this website is definitely the Belmont Stakes. We are here, the final leg of the Triple Crown. Drew a field of 8. We go through them one by one on this show, kind of say, yeah, did I think about them? No. And then who's the top pick? So let's just start at the top. Number 1, Hill Road. What were your thoughts on Hill Road?
I didn't have much thought on Hill Road. So, no.
Yep.
I
Same.
just started him pretty quick.
Same. I don't think he's this type of horse. I'm with you.
No.
I think he could hit the board. I think that's possible.
There's only 8 horses, so he could.
It's not that hard. Okay, I got you.
No,
not a fan of Hill Road at all. All right, I like it.
Yeah, I don't see anything to get too excited about.
No, I don't either. I think if you want to play a closer, you got a better option. And it's Hill Road. Yeah.
Well, he won a very prestigious Peter Pan by 3/4 of the lengths. So
yeah.
That's his best.
That is his best.
He did that, it's not, no, I think there's far better in there than him.
All right. So Hill Road, we were both out on pretty quickly. Number 2 is the Kentucky Derby winner, Sovereignty. Of course, skip the Preakness because, as they said, we just didn't feel like it. So here we are in the Belmont. Did you see that, by the way? Did you see that quote?
I love that. I love it.
So anyway.
Sorry, guys. This on your Triple Crown. We didn't feel like racing.
It was something. All right, Sovereignty. What do you think about him?
Well, should we talk about him and journalism at the same time?
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
If
you want to do that. Yep.
I guess it just comes down to, for me anyway, I guess it comes down to, is journalism, does he have enough left in the tank against a horse that's been off for an extended period of time? And it's how you feel about that. They're pretty similar, I think, in their styles and all of that. And, I think they're going to be right. I would be surprised if they're not together or pretty close together, wouldn't you, in this race? Or do you think someone will try to go to the front? I don't.
No, I think it'll look just like the Derby. Journalism's, maybe 2-3 lengths ahead of Sovereignty, and here we go. Yeah.
So I guess the conventional wisdom would be journalism couldn't hold him off in the Derby. So is this going to be a repeat? That's the way you look at it. I don't know why. I just am pulling hard for journalism. So because of that, I probably will pick him over Sovereignty. But I think the smart thing would probably be to take Sovereignty. Because that race that journalism had in the Preakness could have taken a little bit out of him.
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
Yep. Yeah.
I haven't seen who you picked, so
I picked journalism.
I did too.
Why did you just say all of that then? Do you want me to change that? Because it sounds like you don't want to pick him based on everything you just said.
Okay. All right. I can't really decide. Okay. I think there's an argument made for both. I mean, I don't see how you could ever question journalism's heart and his will. My concern is that was a tough race. And did it take enough out of him that Sovereignty, the fresher horse, could win?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Or I don't know. We're not talking about a human here. We're talking about a horse. But if that was a human, but it's not. But if it was, man, that human I think would be pumped to go win this race. So, but I don't know if a horse thinks like that or not.
I would doubt it.
Listen, I just think journalism's better.
I think he's
it's a little better.
So here's my take on Sovereignty. I am a little bit worried about the pace of this race when it comes to him. I don't know. I'm very on the fence about how fast they're going to actually go. So that's a little bit worrisome to me. I don't think there's any doubt if he runs his Kentucky Derby race, he's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
My skepticism with that is if you believe in really almost all the speed figures, kind of have it the same. That's the best race of his career by quite a bit. So did he just run a huge race on the right time? And is he going to kind of go back to what he had been doing or similar to what he had been doing? Or has he blossomed and that's going to be the new him? I think that's the decision you got to make on him, even more than the pace. You got to kind of decipher, are we getting the Derby Sovereignty? And if we are, he's going to be really tough. If we're not, I don't know that he is as good as Baza or journalism in this race.
Yeah. And do you factor in the off track any at all in that race? Does that have anything, do you think he's better on that kind of a track than journalism? I don't know how you know that, but do you consider that at all?
An off track certainly did not hurt Sovereignty. As I just laid out, he ran the race of his life on an off track. So I would think if indeed it is an off track, I would think that that's going to help him. Yes. Yeah.
I guess I'm just on this horse. A lot of it is I can't really decide between the two definitively.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want journalism to win.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Because it shows that, guess what? You can still run in all three of them, and you can have a hell of a lot of trouble in number 2, the second race, and you can come back and win the Belmont. So if it was a mile and a half, I don't know if I'd be on him quite as much, but it's not. So I just think I'm going to give him a little bit of the edge. I think he's a little better. Plus, I want him to win. And when it's close like that, I'm going to go with the one that I want to win. So
I thought it was some interesting comments from Maggie Wolfendale. They asked her about, how are the horses looking in the morning, talking about Sovereignty and journalism. And Maggie Wolfendale was raving about journalism.
Really?
She thought he looked tremendous. So
he's pretty good on that too.
That kind of rested any last question marks I had about it, because the other big thing for me, think about this. If that trainer and those connections thought journalism was anything tired or wasn't doing very well or whatever, there's no way they would run him in this race.
No, I don't think so.
Because
they don't need to.
Think of it like this. If you show up here and you get beat, now all of a sudden you've got a horse that has the 3 races in 5 weeks, and then what's he going to look like for the summer? And can he make up ground on Sovereignty or whoever to win?
Yep.
The 3-year-old horse of the year? The answer is it's much tougher. They're entering here because they think he is the best horse, and they think he's doing well, and they think he can win it. So
absolutely,
I'm not worried about him being tired. That being said, he very well could be. He very well could be, but I just don't. I'm not concerned about it because I just don't think they would enter him. Now, the other thing is a horse could be full of energy, and then they get out on the racetrack, and maybe they do get tired, and maybe that's when they show it. That's possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that they left Rispoli on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think I thought that could be changed. I thought they might.
To me, what they took they've definitely taken the approach of, we're not kicking him when he's down, and we're sticking right by his side.
And I have to admire that.
Yeah. Yep.
I did.
Yep.
So,
yep.
It's going to be interesting. I do think one or the other is going to win, though. I can't see. I don't like anything else to beat one of those two.
I disagree with that one. So let's
Okay,
go on
that's
to
all right.
number 3, Rodriguez. Let's keep on going down the
Okay.
list here. Rodriguez, a horse that wanted to run in both the Derby and the
Mhm,
Preakness and wasn't able to do it.
mhm,
It seems like this horse is running. It seems like all systems are finally go here. I've
mhm.
heard the workouts have been very good for him the last couple. I don't know if I fully trust him, but again, I don't know what this pace looks like. And I think if he's out by himself, he becomes very dangerous.
Yeah, there's another one that I kind of like that probably you don't or no one else does as far as speed goes. I'm a little worried about why he didn't run in those 2 races. I'm a
Yeah.
little concerned because it's not like Baffert not to run him. You know what? If he was, I just don't know whether he's healthy enough.
Mhm.
I'm a little worried about him that he's not what he should be.
Haven't seen him in 63 days. That's a little bit of a worry. Is he dinged up, injured a little
Yeah,
bit? I don't
a little,
know.
yeah. I don't
Um,
think they would run him if they didn't think he was healthy enough, but
yeah.
maybe he's lost a little bit because of something that happened. So
Yeah.
I'm staying off of him.
I think he's dangerous, but I didn't play him on top either. But I do think he is dangerous. I will not sit there and be shocked at all if he does it. But I'm kind of with you. I don't know that he can last the entire trip after not running in a while after an injury. So
Yep.
I'm just a little bit skeptical, but I am scared of him. I will
Yep.
say that. All right, number 4 is Uncaged. I had no interest here.
Well, let's go to number 5.
Number 5 is Crudo. Now he is interesting. Last 2 races have
Yes.
been really good.
That's the speed horse I would be afraid of getting out and getting ahead.
He he has shown good speed.
He's just in the last, and I know it's a
Mhm.
maiden and it's 100K stakes, but he won by over 7 lengths in both of them. And I know he didn't beat these kind of horses, but that's dangerous speed. If you look, he didn't lose anything in those. He just kept pulling away from
Mhm.
them. So I like this horse to maybe hit the board. I don't think he's seasoned enough to beat the 2 favorites, but he's my speed horse that I think's dangerous. I
Well,
I think he's going to get out there and will this if he, it's just going to be is he good enough?
yeah. I think he is a huge key to the race one way or another. And
Yes.
let's say Rodriguez is kind of dull and he
Yeah.
does get out there like you say, or he's just faster and he gets out there. Maybe like you said, he's a long shot that hits the board.
Mhm.
Or maybe they get out there and bang heads a little bit and it sets it up, right?
Yes.
Talking about the 3 and the 5. I think
I,
he's a huge key to the
I do
race.
too.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he's going to go to the front, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You got to go. You got to
Yeah.
go if you're him. And you have to at least go up there and somewhat pressure. Yeah.
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 And I think Pletcher knows, hey, we got a shot.
Yeah.
You know, uh, why not try him in
Mhm.
this race? So got Velasquez on him. Um, I think he's dangerous. I really do. I don't know if he can win though. Don't know.
That's my thing. I think he will, even if he runs a big one. I think he's going to get caught. Yeah, I mean, it would be, man, it would be surprising for him to win, but I do think he plays a very important part in this thing,
Mhm.
one way or another. So I didn't use him, but I'm not totally against saying, yeah, he could hit the board in this
Yeah.
spot. Yeah. All right, number 6 is Baza. This is a horse that's seemingly getting better and has a right to get better coming into this one. He should
Mhm.
be up towards the front. I don't think he'll be on the lead or anything, but
Right.
I do think he'll be up towards the front. What do you think of him?
He won't have as much ground to make up
Mm-hmm.
as sovereignty and journalism if you look at his style. When you say
Mm-hmm.
he's very dangerous, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you?
Yep. Very.
Yeah, I think he's a sleeper. Not really a sleeper. He's 4-1. Um, he ran really well in the Derby,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, seems to be improving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be. I think he's got a shot. I do.
Yeah,
So
I think he's the when you said I think it's going to be sovereignty or journalism, that's where I disagree because of this horse. I
you
think
think
this
this
is the
horse might beat one of those?
I think that yeah, I think he could
Okay.
win for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I think he's super dangerous in here. He doesn't have to improve just a whole lot or journalism regress just a little bit, and he's a little bit
Mhm.
better than him. And again, if you don't believe that Sovereignty is going to run back to his Derby race, well, Baeza has been better in his other races. So,
Yeah.
man, I really think he's coming in here with a
I
big
did.
shot in
And
this
he
one.
only lost by a length and 3/4.
Right,
He was right there.
right.
So um, and he started in the 15 post, which that's not that bad. But
Mm-hmm,
when you look, he gained a bunch of ground in the
mm-hmm,
last part of that race. He was 4 lengths behind and he closed to 1 3/4. He
mm-hmm.
was coming on strong. So he is dangerous.
I've got him used in everything. Everything. If he wins, that'll be just fine with me, no doubt about it. I, I think he is. I don't think he's the horse to beat because of the number 7 journalism. I listen. He has been the most consistent horse from the start of the year to now.
Mhm.
I just have to trust that people say he's not tired, he's full of energy, and just hope that that's going to be the case. And I think
Mhm.
if the 100% journalism shows up, I think he's better. And yes, I do know Sovereignty beat him, and I will not contest that at all. That was a
No,
fair and square
it
loss to
was
Sovereignty
because
in the Derby.
journalism had the lead, and we thought
There,
he was going to win.
there is no excuse, and I make no excuse for journalism. He got beat. Sovereignty ran better that day.
No
My
doubt.
my take on it is a little bit more normal conditions here, not 19 horses. There's only 8. And again, I'm skeptical of what the speed up front will actually be. And maybe it does set up and journalism does get the trip, and that's fine, and that could happen. I would like to see it if they're going a little slower. How does that look in the stretch this time around? So look though, I just if Sovereignty runs back to his Derby race, he probably is going to win. Well, there's no probably. I think he's a lock to win if he runs back to it, because these horses, whether it be journalism, Baeza, Rodriguez, they haven't ran a race like that. So
Yeah.
that's it, right? So anyway, but look, for me, I think Sovereignty is the most consistent, or excuse me, journalism is the most consistent
Mhm.
horse. I'm going journalism.
Well, and I like the fact you pointed out too. I hadn't really thought of this. If there was any doubt in the connections minds that he wasn't ready, they wouldn't run him.
Yeah,
They just wouldn't. They don't have
it
anything
would
really to gain.
it really would not be smart to run him here if he was giving you any signs.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't. Because, and again, he might not be giving you any signs, and then he'll give us a big sign on Saturday. That's
Well,
very possible.
He might.
I mean, that's very possible. But
But they can't see that.
no. I believe these are people that just absolutely they're kind of in awe of this horse, and they absolutely wouldn't, after what he's done for him, they would not run him if he wasn't 100%. So,
Right.
or at least if they didn't believe he was.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at. I'm going to take him again. You mentioned the Rispoli thing. Again, they've taken the kind of the, we're just going to back him,
Yeah.
we're going to stick up for him. I don't know. I don't know if I would do the same, but that's what they're going to take. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
They've given him some credit. They've tried to give him credit, for other rides and stuff like that. So we'll
Mhm.
see. Yeah.
Well, he's been on him from the start. Well, for the last 5 races. So.
All right.
Well,
Well,
they won.
can we skip the 8?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Heart of Honor. You don't have much interest in Heart of Honor?
No. I
Okay.
don't. Do you?
All right. No.
Okay.
I don't.
I thought you would take Sovereignty.
Honestly, I debated for a while between Baeza and journalism.
You never did consider Sovereignty.
And I told John White, and I said, look, at the end of the day, if Sovereignty wins, I certainly wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I've got him on some tickets, not all, but on some. I'm not going to be that upset about it, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think you've got to take a stand against one of these top three. And he was just kind of the one I kept going back and had the most question marks about.
Well, I have to admit, I was surprised he won the Derby.
I was
really
surprised
was.
he won the Derby with as impressive of a run as he made.
Yeah.
I mean, he won. I was surprised he won going away against a horse that I thought was going to win, that fired his good race and got beat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought journalism had that race when they turned for home. So.
I thought he had the race until I looked towards the back on who's coming, and immediately I said no, he has no chance, because you could tell Sovereignty was running much faster. Yeah. But yes, I was with you. I thought Journalism had it.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that it's handicapping. That's I just kind of look at it and go, I'm a little worried about the pace for Sovereignty. I'm a little worried about Saratoga's track for Sovereignty. It really tends to favor speed horses a lot of times. Just ask Sierra Leone, who lost 3 times up there last year, including the Belmont. And you look back at that field, and Sierra Leone was clearly the best horse, but it just doesn't set up real well for horses coming from way out of it. So anyway, that's just where I'm at. But again, I have a ton of respect for him, but I could poke the most holes.
Yeah. Well, you had to choose one or the other. So,
yeah, like I said, Baza or Journalism was the one or the other for me.
Yeah.
It just was. So,
yeah.
Now, Baza certainly could improve. He has the look of one that's going to improve, right? But he's got to go out there and beat Journalism, and he's had a couple chances and just haven't been able to get the job done. So, yep. So, yeah, it's Journalism, it's Baza. If either one of those wins, I will be happy.
Well, I think you have to take Journalism over Baza, because Journalism has won.
Yeah.
And Baza has not. So,
yep.
I think you have to take him.
As we're talking here, Miguel Clement gets his first win as the main trainer of the Clement stables there. He gets the job done with the number 4, Coach Case gets the job done. So congrats to Miguel Clement. I'm sure he doesn't really want to win it because of what happened, but he will take it nonetheless. So good on him there. And yeah, it's been weird looking at the past performances and seeing that previously trained by Christophe Clement, and just, God, it just give you chills a little bit. But anyway, thoughts still with the Clement family for sure on that one. So, all right. Anything else?
No, I'm just see Curtis said, what do you think of Crudo chances of getting loose? Yeah, I kind of think he might. It's just, I just don't know if he's good enough to finish it. That's the thing.
I disagree with time form on that. I don't think he's going to get the lead. But I was talking to Kevin B, and he's like, don't you think Crudo adds pace to the race? I said, well, I really want to see the time form to kind of compare, because I don't know, like, yeah, he's been setting the pace in those weaker races, but can he really stand up to the stronger races? And although I don't really agree that Crudo's going to get loose, like Timeform said, it does give me enough indication to go, you know what? I think this horse can get out there and at least run with Rodriguez. Like, he's fast. So I don't think he's getting loose, but I think he's going to play a part in the race now for sure.
Yeah, no question.
Yep.
I think he can get ahead of Rodriguez. I think he can. We'll see. He's just not seasoned. He hasn't run against big time.
Yeah, horses. That's the worry. That's the worry for sure. Yeah. Yep.
He'll be one to be watching though. For sure.
We'll see what happens here. Rick says Baeza has never beaten the top 3, especially. Maybe some typos there, but anyway, never beaten the top 3. Yeah, the top, but 2, I guess that would be. And yeah, that's for sure. Well, I guess top 3 if you count Rodriguez. He hadn't beaten him either. He got beat by him pretty easily. It is, yeah. He's getting better, and I think if you're going to bet Baeza, you're betting on him to be better. He was a late foal. He has a right to be better the second half of the season.
Yep.
Is this the race or will it be in the summer? That's the question with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Any final thoughts?
No, I think we got that one covered. Not that many.
All right.
That many horses to mess with in this one.
I know that this one and the Preakness was a little bit easier to go
no
through.
doubt.
Let me ask you this: out of the three, Derby, Preakness, Belmont, which was the hardest one for you to pick?
Oh, it's always the Derby.
Okay.
It's always the Derby for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so tough because there's so many factors involved. 20 horses, and the posts, and the weather, and everything. It's a tough race to pick.
This was the Belmont was the hardest, was the one where I really thought the most about it.
Yeah.
Because in the Derby, I knew I was picking journalism. And in the Preakness,
as far as picking the winner.
Yeah.
I got you. No, it was probably the Derby's always the hardest for me.
Yeah. This has been like I said, the Derby, I wasn't going to waver on journalism as long as he drew well, and he did. And then the Preakness, the millisecond they said he was running, that was the pick. I wasn't going to look at the rest of those.
That was the easiest one for me.
Yes, for sure. And then this one I think was the hardest for me because going into the Derby, I didn't have that race on Sovereignty's past performance sheet that looked like this, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have Baza almost getting third, but other than just a bad trip, or maybe he gets second, I should have said. So the horses kind of elevated themselves in the Derby a little bit. So,
sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, there is some interest in this. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I think
you're going at it.
I think it's the best Belmont I've been to that does not involve a Triple Crown.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Essential Quality versus Hot Rod Charlie, but I think these horses are better than that coming into it. It's like I said, other than Justifies or Pharaohs, I think this is about the best one that I've been to. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that Curtis had a dream.
He had a dream that Baeza won the Belmont. He ran down journalism in the stretch. Last time I had a dream about a horse winning the race, it was Encino in the Derby. Well, Encino didn't make it to the Derby.
Well, Curtis, you should have told us this 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's just a dream,
Yeah, exactly. He asked about the Wood Memorial. I have no idea what to make out of it because basically why you just laid it out. Captain Cook definitely, whoops, nothing there. And then
David Barista said Baeza just scratched.
That's interesting. I don't know if that's for real or not, but
right.
yeah. And then
now he says just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
That's why I don't read the comments out loud.
Thanks,
on
David.
There.
Thanks.
All right, so let's get going with the okay. Let's get going with the NHL now as we'll move on from the Belmont. NHL definitely, I think, is almost harder than the Belmont to try to decipher what's going to happen here. The Panthers and the Oilers get it going tonight. The Edmonton Oilers are the favorites here at home at minus 120. Panthers plus 100. This is going to be awesome.
Yes, it is.
Do you think it's McDavid's time? That's the question.
Yeah, I heard some guys talking about it today. Is it stupid to say that I think the winner of game one may win it? I think game one's really important for Edmonton to win.
Mm-hmm.
This is a classic matchup. If you like, I'm going to be so disappointed if this doesn't go 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I just am. I think if the Panthers can go in there and win tonight, they may win this thing. They might.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've got. Would you agree that overall the Panthers are probably the more solid team?
Yes, I would agree with that.
They don't have the superstars, right?
I would disagree with that.
Well, they don't have a McDavid.
Nobody has a McDavid.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
That's the greatest player in the game
I
by
know,
far.
and the other guy's pretty good too.
A Draisaitl, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the Panthers have more depth down through the lines.
100%. Yeah.
And does it then come down to goaltending? Is that going to be a factor? I mean, how can you go against what Skinner has done for Edmonton?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he's proven himself that he's going to play great.
Mm-hmm.
We know the Florida goalie's going to play well.
Mm-hmm.
He's proven himself.
Yep.
The Oilers have dismantled two great teams. They beat Vegas and they beat Dallas, and they beat them fairly easy, which I did not think they would beat either one of them easy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Panthers have I don't think they've played as good at teams. Do you?
I would venture to say Toronto is very, very good.
Yeah, that's their best one.
Yeah.
But Carolina wasn't that good.
No. That was like a bye.
Yeah. So I think the Oilers have had the tougher road to get here.
I think you would have to say they've played more quality teams. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a great series. I think the Oilers are going to win it. I think it's going to go 7. Is it McDavid's time? I think so. But you watch, somebody's going to step up that you're not looking for and be a major factor in this. So I think it's going to be great to watch. I just kind of like Edmonton. I know you like Florida a lot, and I do too. I don't have anything against it. I think it's going to be fun to watch. This is going to be a great game tonight.
The key to the whole thing for me, a lot of long stretches of games, Dallas and Vegas and the Kings have not been able to get quality shots on goal. And so Skinner, when they've got it, boom, Skinner's been able to make great saves. So definitely going to be the key, getting more quality chances on Skinner. I think he breaks a little bit if that happens. But the underrated thing about Edmonton has been the defense. It's been the teams cannot score on them.
No,
and that's
you look at their goals against. It's unbelievable.
It's truly incredible when you look at the roster. That should not be the case. They should be winning games 4-3, and you're like, okay, sounds good. But winning games 1-0, that's not what you would think about them, but that's what they've been able to do. So the big key to this whole series is Florida being, like you said, the depth, having 4 lines that can all score, 4 lines that look very similar. Can they kind of get inside of those Edmonton defensive lines and get the more quality shots towards the net?
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes. I think Florida repeats in this. I just feel like they still are the team that has the most depth. You don't have to worry about the goaltender, like you said. I'm not really worried about Skinner either in this spot. He's proven it to me now. I just think Florida will get better chances than Vegas got and Dallas got, and I think they'll beat them.
It's going to be great, though. I mean, you can't really, Florida plays well on the road. Edmonton plays well on the road. There's not a whole lot to pick between them. There really isn't, and that's why they're both here, and that's why this is shaping up as a classic series.
Yep. So Panthers, I do think the Panthers were pretty banged up. I do think that time off will help them. But yeah, I mean it's an issue. But I think I went on VSiN in Game 5 right before Game 5. I said the Panthers, if they want to win the Stanley Cup, I think they have to win tonight. And they're like, well, they got 2 more games. I said that's not what I mean. They need the rest, and they got it. So look, the big thing, and you said it. I don't. And it may be dumb to say because I thought home advantage went definitely late in that series last year. It made a big difference, but the way these two teams are playing right now, I'm not sure home advantage makes any difference in this.
They can win anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Florida has Florida's been better on the road.
Yeah, they have.
They've been better on the road. Yeah.
Yeah. And Edmonton's just been good everywhere.
Yep.
You know, they've been on a roll. So it's going to be really something to watch, I think.
So you're going to take the Oilers?
I'm going to take the Oilers, but sure won't be shocked.
It certainly feels like it's McDavid's time. It does.
Yeah, it does.
Here's where he's at right now. He's so elite that it's starting to look normal, the things that he's doing.
Yeah.
And they are not normal.
No,
This guy, nobody in the league can do these things, but you're seeing him doing it with such ease that it makes the breakaway goal he scored in Dallas in Game 5. That's borderline unhuman how he did that so easily.
He's such a player.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and he's going to be a problem. Trust me about that. But I just think Florida is going to. I just think they're going to do it. I think they just they've got that style, and the way they play, and as deep as they are, and as well as their coach. I think both coaches are really good, but as you know, I just feel like Florida's going to be able to beat them. But I think it's a coin flip for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and it's it's hard to beat the champion. It's hard to beat them when they're really good. I just feel like Edmonton's better this year than the team last year.
You know, they asked Paul Maurice about the teams, and he said, I don't think there's any doubt both teams are better. He said, I think we're a lot better than we were, and he said, I think they're much better than they were.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Kevin has a question here. What do you guys take on the coach doing the weird move with telling the Hurricanes coach not to go in the handshake line, to leave it about the players? I've heard Paul Maurice talk about this several times. He said it's a total joke that the coaches go out in the handshake line. He said it didn't used to be that way, and his comment was when that started, it had to just be some coach that wanted his face on camera. His belief is the men that did the work should go out there, and we should just go off to the side and shake hands with each other as people who curse a lot and drink coffee. That was his Kevin, I am 1,000% behind Paul Maurice with that. Yes. I think that's great. So
that is what they always did. They just got off the bench and stood in front of the benches and shook hands.
Yeah. They didn't do it in the second series. They did not do it in the Toronto series. Because he asked Berube, and Berube said, that's good with me.
Yeah.
Again, former player, understands it, knows it, you know. So the first series they were out there, and I think it's because I don't think there's a lot of love lost between Florida and Tampa. So I don't think, I don't think that was going to happen. I don't think he was going to listen to Maurice in that one. So,
and also, what about the jinx when the Oilers touched the trophy the other night?
Can't believe I forgot to mention it. Just touching that trophy is just insane.
That's
just insane.
Nobody does that. Nobody.
You don't. Well,
you hardly don't even look at it.
The Panthers, the first year they won it, they touched it, and Maurice was pissed. And so the last 2 years when they've won it, he's went and grabbed the captain and said, "Do not touch it." And he said something else other than just that. So, no touching that thing. I don't know. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like they didn't touch it last year, so now it's like, okay, we're going to touch it this year. I wouldn't mess with it. Just saying, wouldn't mess with it.
That's just something that's taboo. You don't do that. So
I remember I was in the building when the Blues won the Western Conference, and we were screaming, "Do not touch that trophy." And guess what? They didn't. So they won. So, but they had them up. We were up way high, so we could barely see it, But they had them up at the big screen, and I was like, "Oh God, Pietrangelo, do not touch that trophy, please."
I'm sure Berube told him.
Oh yeah, exactly. Anybody with a brain.
This is the kind of stuff that makes hockey what it is.
Yeah, it makes it the best sport in the world. I agree.
Makes it the little innuendos, the little traditions that they have, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch any other sport like this because, like, we were watching it, and they brought the trophy out, and I said, that's for such a beautiful trophy, and it is. It's an amazing trophy for winning the West. I was talking to Heather, and I was like, for such a beautiful trophy, it never gets touched.
No, they don't.
We were laughing, and then when McDavid went to grab it, the guy was like, "Really, you want to?" And we were laughing. We're like, "Oh my god!" We've like flipped out over it. So, but yeah, that's hockey for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, all this shit we're talking, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But still, I text like 6 people. I was like, "No, that's bad. That's super bad."
Yeah. Yeah. It's what makes hockey what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
cool.
Well, listen, here's the deal. I promise you this. If Florida wins, there will be people mad at McDavid. I guarantee.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt.
So when you do that, you leave yourself open to that. Now, also, the flip side of it is if the Oilers win it, well, then all of a sudden, oh, McDavid, he broke, he went against everything and did it, so.
Or nothing will be said.
No, it's Canada. People will be upset if they lose, and they will blame him. All right. NBA, Pacers, Thunder. I'm a little scared. Everybody thinks the Thunder are going to win this thing easily. I'm not on that bandwagon. Yeah. I think this is going to be a tough series.
Before we get into that, let's talk about the Knicks firing their coach.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Has anybody got a take on that? Because I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy, they weren't that good. I hate to tell you that, but they weren't. And they get him that far. I don't think this guy's going to have a hard time finding another job if he wants one. So there's got to be some kind of internal thing going on.
Yeah.
There. So I was shocked when I heard that this morning. Pacers Thunder. I'm with you. I'm a little worried. Here's another thing. We kind of talked about it with Edmonton. When you think about Edmonton, you think about offense. And when you think about the Thunder, you think about offense because they score. But their defense is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I think the key is going to be, can they shut down the Pacers a little bit?
That's the key to the game.
Yeah. When the Thunder can the Thunder shut them down? Can they control them? Because I'm telling you, when the Pacers get rolling, they're hard to stop. They can shoot it. I think the Thunder is better defensively than Indiana. Mm-hmm. I do think the Thunder is going to win. I don't think it's going to go 7. I think it's going to go 5 or 6. And but I do think the Pacers are going to be competitive in it. Scary game tomorrow night. That first one is always tough, coming off a layoff. But both teams have similar layoffs. But when you're at home, we're talking about it today. You sit around and these players are listening to all this crap that this isn't even going to be a series. Blah,
I know.
blah.
I'm worried. Yep.
Yes. And that makes that favored team vulnerable in this first game.
Yeah.
Because Indiana's hearing this shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not bad. Mm-hmm. So the second half of the season, they were one of the best teams in the league. So you kind of throw that record out. They rolled down the stretch, and they've played extremely well in the playoffs. Really worried about tomorrow night. If I see the Thunder come out and play really well tomorrow night, I might agree with this sweep or this. I do think Indiana wins a game somewhere.
I think it's going to go like 6 games.
We'll see what happens in game 1. I may agree with you, but the Thunder can throw up clunkers, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. If they're ready to play, if they haven't listened to this stuff, and it's hard not to. I just think the Thunder are better. I think they are. I think it's more depth, and they're just a little better.
I think it's easy to say that for sure, because that's kind of what it tells you when you look at it. But at the end of the day, I do think this is a quality team in Indiana. I don't know. I don't like how they're just kind of, this is it's in the bag. I don't know. Like I watched Indiana, and it's like they're pretty damn good.
They are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I don't think it's in the bag by us. Say Indiana comes in and wins that first one. Well, that whole thing tilts, doesn't it?
Yep.
It does.
Yep.
You got to remember the Thunder were a fantastic game away against Minnesota from being 2-2.
I know. That's what I think Indianapolis is better than Minnesota.
Well, they might be. That's where you get back to that Thunder defense. They took Edwards out of those last two games.
You're right. You are right about that. Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, is Halliburton better than Edwards? I think he is, because I think he's more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But can they take him out of the game? It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think the Thunder are definitely going to win. Now, there's also added pressure on them, too, because everyone expects them to win. And then, if they do lose this first game, then the doubters are going to come in, and everybody's going to go, if they don't win it this year, when are they going to win it?
I'm with you. Like the way this all sets up, like it's setting up like, man, it's panic city if the Thunder lose one of these first two. And
oh yeah,
I fear it could snowball. The thing about, for me, it's like, I'm a little bit worried. The Thunder, you can't say they've been bad in the playoffs, because they haven't, but they haven't been quite, like a regular season Thunder looking team, except for the home games against Minnesota. That's when they really started to look like who they actually are.
That game 5.
It was awesome. Yeah.
They were really good in game 5.
And I think that's the key. They are very, and I know they've lost a game at home this year in the playoffs, but overall, they're very tough to beat at home.
They lost a game at home because of stupid strategy.
Yeah,
they should have won the game, but still they lost. Rob says he thinks the Pacers have the best. They probably do, but if they don't, I bet the Thunder do.
I think it's the Pacers and the Thunder.
I think so too.
Yeah. There's Mandel with the stat that Pacers Thunder have the best NBA record since January 1st. And look, when you watch the Pacers against the Knicks, it did go 6, but you never really felt like the Knicks were the better team.
No,
at least I didn't.
No, I would much rather if we were playing the Knicks. I say we because I'm a Thunder fan. I'd say sweep.
I would too. That's where I'm at with it. I think this team is better. They're much better than the Knicks. I think they're dangerous. I still think the Thunder are going to win, but I do not think this will be an easy series.
No, I don't either. The Knicks are too. They don't have any depth. Thunder wear them down, I think. Yeah. Indiana's going to. They just get after you.
They're kind of similar, really.
They really are offensively, for sure. But I do think that Thunder have the edge defensively because their defense is so underrated. The other thing is, if Holmgren plays like he did in that series against Minnesota, and he's losing.
I agree with that.
Golly. I've never been high on him, but man, in that series, some of those dunks he made, he turned strong going.
He turned it on in a big way. Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He made a believer out of me. Now he may go the other direction. I don't know. Boy, some of those finishes at the rim was impressive.
Yep.
And he was really good. I've really become a big fan of. I'll be honest. I've rarely watched a whole Thunder game. I watched bits and pieces of them before the playoffs. And NBA, I can't hardly sit and watch a whole game. I can watch bits and pieces of it, but not a whole game. But with the Thunder, I can watch it. And I've watched their press conferences a little bit. Those guys are very impressive. They're very down to earth. They know what they want. They're very young. When they lose the game, they take it head on, blame themselves. They don't blame anybody else. The coach I'm a fan of his for sure. He's really legit. I've really been impressed with their attitude. SGA is very soft spoken,
Mhm.
very humble. I'm impressed with him. Of course, I'm a Thunder fan, so take that for what it's worth. But
Mhm.
if I was
Yeah.
them, I would sit down and sign the big three, Holmgren. I'd go to SGA and say, "What do you want?
Yeah.
What's going to take it? We ain't losing you.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
doing it this time. We're not losing Durant and Harden and be stuck just with one of them. We're keeping all of them." And the other thing, they got so many draft picks stocked up
Mhm.
that they don't really have to mess with the role players. They can trade, get whatever they want, get some role players to replace the role players. You
Yeah.
got to sign the big three. You
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah.
And I think they will. I don't think they're going to let this happen again
Yeah.
when they lost Durant.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. And you got to
The
hope
key is, do those
different.
guys want to stay there?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not an NBA city.
No. No, they seem happy though. And look, I think the
They
big
do.
thing that they why they couldn't keep those guys is they got to the finals and failed. Well, now
Yeah.
here we go. They're getting to the finals. They need to win
Well,
it. They
you're
really
right.
need to win it.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
They weren't the premier team
Mhm.
when it all came apart, and Durant, I think, down deep, didn't think he could win a championship there. So he went to somewhere where he knew he could.
Yep.
You're right. If they can win this, they're kings of the NBA right now.
Yep. Yep. They got to
So
win.
yes, they do.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, if they don't win,
Oh yeah.
it's going to start being a thing.
Yeah, because everybody's going to ignore the great regular seasons they have.
Yeah, like
Now go
last
prove it in the playoffs.
year. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You would think getting to the finals would be good enough, but it's not.
I think it would be good enough if they played like the Celtics and they
Yeah.
got beat.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
But you
it's a good
can't.
point.
It's like when they got to the finals and they lost to LeBron and Chris
Oh, yeah.
Bosh and Wade.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, nobody was real upset.
This is their chance. They all the quote unquote big teams got beat. They're the big team. They have to win. Like if they don't, it's not going to be good.
Kevin asked a good question. I don't know the answer to this. Says SGA was a Clipper. I don't know where he came from. I know they
did. Yes, he was a Clipper, and they traded. The Clippers traded so much for Paul George.
Oh, so they got him in the Paul George trade?
Yes.
Well, then they got a bunch of draft picks too. Didn't they get a bunch of draft picks too?
Oh yeah, they got a ton of draft picks and SGA.
And this guy.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this guy being a stud at Kentucky.
No, I mean, I think he was a good player, but yeah, the Thunder he developed under them. Yeah.
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 The general manager, Sam Presti at OKC, is a wizard.
Yeah.
Listen, when they decided to dismantle that whole team, and they took their lumps for what, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And he started amassing all of these draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got SGA in a trade for Paul George, who was on his way out.
He's awful.
His skill level, he was overrated to begin with, I guess.
Yes.
But they draft Jalen Williams. Yeah. I never heard of him. Did you?
No.
Of course, Holmgren. I knew who he was because he played for Gonzaga.
Yeah.
So you get those guys, and you just, there's, and then they bring in this Crusoe.
Yeah.
They got rid of what was that other guy's name? Pretty or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they bring in Crusoe. How valuable has he been?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they knew he was tough as a boot and wasn't scared of anything. And they knew that's what they needed.
They needed that. Yeah.
Somebody to come off the bench and just shoot lights out and have no fear, steal the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Giddy. That was his name. And, and he's so valuable.
Yep. Yep. I mean, they've done a miraculous job. Yeah. And again, though, like I would venture to say Indianapolis, they've done about I mean, they haven't done as good, but they've done a damn good job building that
Oh,
too.
they've got a great coach.
Yeah.
He's always been,
Or Indiana, I should say. Yeah.
he's
Yep.
always been good.
Yep.
So,
It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. It's I would say I am confident the Thunder are gonna win, but I am not confident that it's gonna be easy.
yeah.
I sure hope it is. That'd be great, but
Yeah, because that's something, you say, well, I'd like the playoffs to keep going. It's fun to watch. Not if you're rooting for one of these teams. Just
right.
get that fourth win as quick as you can get it.
Yeah, give me Florida and Edmonton 7 games and give
Yeah.
me this one 4 games.
I think
Yeah.
that one ought to be a best out of 9. That would be.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the end. So
it might go. I think it'll go. Well, yeah, I think it'll go 7, but
you never know. You think
Yeah.
sometimes I thought Dallas and Edmonton was 7.
yeah, I did
And
too.
it wasn't even a series, really.
No, and I am starting to wonder. Well, I won't pile on DeBoer, but that's a lot of times in a row he's been to the Western Conference Finals. They can't get over the hump, and I thought pulling Ottinger was insane in Game 5. But again, it was still Game 5. Like,
Yeah.
even if they could come back and win that game, if they still got to win 2 more, and they weren't going to do that. So
I don't think so.
yeah,
No.
but
Edmonton peaked down the stretch.
yeah, for sure.
They
No,
really got to playing well.
yeah. Well, Edmonton and Florida both got healthy. That's the big thing.
That's true.
Yeah, they both.
Yeah,
had
that's right. Edmonton had a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that always helps when your best players are on the ice. So
Yeah.
all right. Anything else before we get out of here?
I just want to mention one thing because we talked about OU softball a lot, and they got beat, which
Uh-huh.
I don't think we were too surprised.
No.
For those of you that didn't watch, did you about fall out of the chair when they tied that game?
Yeah. So what happened was they were in the Final Four. They had to beat Texas Tech twice. Texas Tech has the best pitcher I've ever seen, anyway, in softball. And I thought, no way. So it's 2-0. They're getting shut out. It's the last inning. 2 outs, and OU hits a 2-run homer and ties the game.
And the girl that hit the 2-run homer hit 2 home runs all year.
Yeah, yep, and knocked it out. And it was a no doubter, just knocked it out. Yeah. So, but still did not win. But listen, I thought it was a good, really good season for as young as they were.
Oh, it was a fantastic season because to win the first game in there, they had to have a 3-run walk-off home run against who was it? Tennessee.
Yep.
To win that game. This was a team that wasn't anywhere near the other ones, but they got everything out of themselves they could get. Fantastic job of coaching. And when she hit that home run, it's funny. I've seen them do this a million times, but I still thought to myself, they're not going to win this game. I just never did have confidence that they were going to.
They felt like they were hanging by a thread the entire tournament.
They did. They never were ahead.
Yeah, and they just don't have a pitcher that's shut down.
He's a great pitcher, but she's not a superstar. She's gutty. She pitches her heart out.
Yep.
And they were going up against a great pitcher.
Yep.
The Texas pitcher is fantastic.
The Texas Tech pitcher got $1 million to go to Texas Tech.
Softball player.
So if you don't, if you turn that NIL and think about the big sports, here's a softball. So here was a situation. This girl, Nigeri Canada is her name. She pitched at Stanford for 2 years. Stanford was really not very good except for her, and she got them to the College World Series both years.
They just couldn't score.
She announces she's going to transfer. Everybody's like, oh, she's going to Oklahoma, which, by the way, if she went to Oklahoma, this would be wrapped up on Thursday, and they would have their 5th straight.
That's right.
They got outbid by Texas Tech. Texas Tech is paying her $1 million to play softball.
Never won anything.
Right. So now NIL has influenced college softball because if she was not at Texas Tech, this team would have been home a month ago.
Yeah. Well, OU used to play Texas Tech, and that was it was a 3-game sweep. Just don't even worry about it. And
so Texas Tech essentially may have bought in a softball national championship.
Exactly.
$1 million. And I think probably even at Oklahoma, I don't know that they valued softball enough to pay $1 million for.
I don't think there's any doubt that they got outbid.
I would happen to think, because Texas Tech, this was the first time they've ever been to the College World Series. It's the first time
Yeah.
you've ever even heard of them in softball.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would have to think they probably outbid by a ton to get her.
Well, the rumors were in the beginning it was either going to be Florida or Oklahoma was going to get her. And quite frankly, everyone in the state of Oklahoma thought it was a cinch. Why wouldn't she, if she's leaving Stanford because she wants to win a national championship, why wouldn't you go to Oklahoma, who needed a pitcher?
Yeah, and Florida also a very good softball school.
Oh, they're always good.
Yeah.
And they needed a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she signed at Texas Tech, it was like, what?
Yep.
Texas Tech. So that shows you, because the thing about softball, it all begins and ends on the mound. And if you have the best pitcher in softball, you still have to get players around them because you got to be able to field the ball. And they're good. Texas Tech is good. It's not just her.
Mm-hmm. So
you still got to have a team around your pitcher. But if you got that Haas that can go out there and shut the other team out, and you got some other studs around you, you're going to win. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that pitcher can pitch every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like baseball where you pitch one day and you have to wait 3 days. Because if OU had won that game, they'd had to come right back and play again that night. I don't have any doubt the same pitcher would have pitched.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And it's incredible that a girl is making $1 million to play softball. I mean, that is, if you would have told us that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, we would have said you are out of your mind.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And Curtis says, imagine if we live in a world where Texas Tech is a college sports dynasty. Curtis, why couldn't it happen there with this NIL crap?
They have a chance. They have a chance because, and I don't know, I haven't looked into why, but they have more money than a ton of schools.
Yeah, there must be some money down there, Texas. So who knows, what kind of alums they have and what kind of money they do.
But like when this NIL thing started, that's not the first school that came to mind. It was going to have money to go buy a softball player for $1 million.
Yeah, you're right. And now wouldn't it be cool? And I'm rooting my ass off for them because they're playing Texas.
Yeah,
that's the main reason. But wouldn't it be cool if Texas Tech knocks off Texas, who has all kinds of NIL money, for the softball national championship? That would be pretty cool.
But again, you just don't know what is Texas committing to softball. I'm sure they're getting they're paying, what is it? And is she going to raise the standard? And what's this going to look like?
Exactly. Okay, so she didn't come to OU. Are they going to raise their?
Yeah, when the next big one comes up, will OU magically now have $1 million, or will it be $2 million by that time? Is that what I mean? That's kind of where we're heading, And is that going to take away from the football funds to try to do that? And
I don't know.
And by the way, you could talk about the same kind of thing. So that's great. We'll leave. You talk about the same kind of thing. What about OU women's basketball? They got the #1 player in the country.
That's right. So
how did they do that? Because they found money somewhere.
Somebody donated some money to them.
Yeah. So it's like so crazy.
I don't know this 100% for sure, but I'm pretty sure. We have a player where we live, a football player from Nixa. Aaron, I don't know if you've heard about him or not, but he throws the discus and the shot. I think he's broke all the world records. He threw the shot 77 feet.
Wow.
He's like, anyway, he's going to be in the Olympics. There's no doubt about it. Because he's the best in the country now. But he's an offensive lineman. So everybody thought he was going to Missouri or Arkansas because he's from around here. OU was after him. I didn't hear them mention him just a whole lot. But anyway, so he ends up at the University of Miami, $2 million.
Yeah.
For an offensive lineman.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the University of Miami. And he got $50,000 living expenses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, pretty funny.
It is crazy to think about that. And I remember when NIL started, we were like, oh, the quarterback might make that. This is like the backup quarterbacks are making that. I mean, I think one interesting thing is going to happen. I think these quarterbacks are going to stay in school pretty much all through their eligibility, unless they are a stud, because they're taking pay cuts to go to the NFL. Talking about
exactly
the Dylan Gabriels of the world, the freaking the kid from Texas that why can I think of his name?
Manning.
No.
The
lollipop thrower. Can't think of his
name. He just
now.
played this year. I
know, and I can't even think of it. He's out of my mind now. But anyway, they're taking pay cuts. Shadur Sanders took a huge pay cut. Yeah.
Did I see he got traded?
Huh?
Did I see he got traded?
No.
Or was that fake news?
That would be fake news.
Okay, I thought I saw.
You see it on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't read any of it. I just glanced at it because I predict he's going to get traded.
Somebody's going to have to.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody's going to have to because there's too many of them in there.
You don't draft 2 rookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're right about the. Yeah, we've been saying this. You can make more money staying in college. You know, the risk is you get hurt.
Yep.
But you know what? Say you come in there and they give you $3 million, and you stay another $3 million, or you make another $3 million the next year. You're doing really well, and they up you to $4 million.
Yeah.
You make $10 million in $3 years. I think you ought to be set up whether you get hurt or not, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Quinn Ewers. That's right. Jesus. I'm getting bad.
No, you got too many statistics, too many things we got to remember.
I do think, since I've been when you get into sports from more of a betting standpoint, you really don't care about the names as much.
Hey, I bet baseball every day, and I'm doing pretty good at it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these players. I know the pitchers.
You're better off. You know their numbers, but
No, I don't. I know the pitchers.
No, I'm talking about their stats. You know who can do what. You know what teams can hit, what teams don't.
Well, mainly in baseball, I just keep track of who's hot, who's not, what team's kind of trending upward, and and when they're due to lose a game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers took a huge pay cut because I think wasn't the rumor like he was getting offered like something crazy from a Big Ten school, like
when it like $6
million or something like that, or
Ohio State, I think.
Yeah, and I don't remember what his contract was. It's hardly anything.
Yeah,
compared to that, I should say. Yeah. Compared to that, yeah.
That's why Gabriel stayed in school another year.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure he wishes he had another year.
Yeah,
because the deal is, whether it's Ewers or Gabriel or whoever, throw out like names that a lot of these kids are college quarterbacks. They're not really NFL quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
So. I was going to talk about Shoddy. Your uncle, my brother, texted me and said, better watch this sub-regional between Arkansas and Tennessee. Evidently, there's some bad blood between these two teams. You heard anything about that?
Just from him.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. It's must watch TV. There's some bad blood between the Arkansas and Tennessee baseball teams. They're in the sub-regional this weekend.
I heard that, or he told me that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so I might be able to watch a little bit of it after Saturday.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be gone.
Yeah, but that should be interesting for sure. That's a good example. Think about how rich Tim Tebow would be if they got paid in college back then.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. would have been
yeah.
massive.
Well, there's a
Massive.
lot of them you can say that about.
Yeah, for sure.
Think how much money Mayfield would have made at Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think Dennis is more like Tim Tebow was a college quarterback, right?
Oh,
Like
definitely.
his earning power was then and now. Yeah,
You betcha. No question about it. Absolutely.
Yep.
Hey, Rob's got another one. Rockies are on fire. They've won 3 in a row.
I know they went and beat the Marlins. By the way, did you see the Marlins Rockies game? There was like 100, 200 people there. And that's not exaggeration. There wasn't anybody there. Nobody went. It looked like COVID, like when COVID was going on. It was crazy.
They're both awful.
Oh yeah, and nobody goes to the games in Miami anyway, really.
No.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I saw somewhere where it said 137 people were there. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I did see that, or 157 or something. Yeah,
I've seen some of those Oakland games. There's nobody in the stadium.
So, how about Oakland? Who's not Oakland? I don't know what are they? I don't even know.
They're Oakland.
Are they still calling them Oakland?
Yeah.
They have no fan base.
No. They started off, they were 22-20.
Yeah.
They've lost 19 of their last 20 games.
Yeah.
They just dropped out of sight.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing good.
Well, think about it. They have they don't, I wouldn't imagine there's too many people left in Oakland. It's clear that Sacramento cares nothing about them. They're already nobody's at the games.
No.
Vegas, like, do they have fans there? I wouldn't think. Why would they already be fans of them? They have nobody.
No, they really don't.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys don't remember this because you're not as old as me. Back when they were so good in the 70s, 72, 73, 74, when they won the World Series a couple times, and they had Canseco and McGuire was there. They had really great players. They didn't draw then.
Mm-mm.
There was nobody at those games.
Yeah.
So they've never drawn.
They kind of blamed it on it's not really a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And it's not, for sure. Yeah.
I think they would be in St. Louis if they played at that stadium, don't you?
Well, shit, I'm not sure.
You don't think they go to the games in that stadium?
Nobody goes to the Cardinal games right now.
Oh, they're not?
No, you haven't seen that?
But the Cardinals are in second place.
I know, but they're not good. There is not a lot of people going to those games.
Is that right?
No. Admin for the last 3 years, you can go for $5.
Are you kidding me? I did not. I don't watch. I didn't know.
Last year I sat behind. I went. Now it was I think it was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I sat like 8 rows behind the visitors' dugout for like $15, I think.
Wow. You're right, Carr. It was Reggie Jackson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
McGuire came along in the 80s. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Vida Blue, those guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Joe Rudy. I love that team.
Yeah, McGuire was the early 90s.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He was in the next group that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That came through there.
Eckersley, Dennis Eckersley.
Yep.
Remember him?
Thanks for saving
Dave
me.
Stewart? Dave Stewart, their pitcher?
I think Dave was on that 80s team. Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their manager was a guy named Williams, Dick Williams.
For the 70s teams?
Yeah.
Yeah, because LaRussa was the manager in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Martin may have been there a year somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But thanks for correcting me on that one.
Well, don't feel bad. I couldn't think of Quinn Ewer's names.
No,
I only watched him play for 4 years. So
yeah, Bob Welch. Yeah, he was on the. Yeah, they had some great teams, but they didn't draw then. So you're winning championships, you're not drawing. There's an issue.
That is definitely true.
I don't know why anybody would go see the Rockies play, but
yeah. All right. Well, we got a lot going on this week for sure. Here's what's going on. Let's see if I can think of it all. I will be live on Mad Dog Sports Radio and the VSiN YouTube page in about an hour and 15 minutes. Talking talk Belmont and talk hockey. So kind of like this show going on there. Then I will be on at 8 o'clock Central Time tomorrow morning on VSiN, show I've never been on, so I don't know. I don't even know who does that one. And then we'll have Blinkers Off tomorrow, and we'll also have Magic Mike tomorrow. And I think that's it for the week. I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we got going. And then be at the Saratoga, be at the Belmont Saturday, and then we're staying Sunday as well. So we'll be there Saturday, Sunday. That's all I got.
Well, and I don't want to get into specifics, but all you guys that like me have some good thoughts for me tomorrow.
Yes.
It's a huge day for me personally.
Yes.
Yes, I have to go to court at 9 and hopefully wish me to be there at least till noon.
Yeah, I hope hopefully that is done and over with.
It's a big day. It needs to be over with. Be like the world comes off my shoulders. So
yes. Hopefully it's done and over with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So think good thoughts there.
Yeah.
Magic Mike will be covering. No, we're gonna do Belterra on Saturday. We'll be doing Belterra.
That's a good one.
Yep. We'll be doing Belterra. Let everybody know. Belterra on Saturday there. So that'll be good.
Yep.
All right. Well, good thoughts for sure. No doubt about it. Hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah. I may jump up a building if it doesn't.
You're not going to do that.
I don't know. Close. Oh, gosh.
There you go.
Thanks to everybody, guys.
Yep. Thanks for the good wishes for sure. Yeah. It's going to be great. I'm sure everything's going to go fine. I'm not worried about it. So. All right, I got to get out of here. I got more to do. Got to post this, get this up for everybody to listen to that missed it and listen to the recording. And then, I got to go over and do that. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. We will see you guys on here tomorrow for Blinkers Off and for Magic Mike. And we'll see what happens. Should be a good time. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. Good luck to Papa Dude tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, we will. Let's see if everything. If everything goes smoothly, we'll recap it on Wednesday. How about that? Next Wednesday.
I don't know about that, but we might.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
This is due to Bet Sports.